Hello. How is everyone today? Let me make sure this is still working actually. Yep, cool. I'm alright. I I was trying to make granola bars last night and I just burned my my oats. But burned oats smell like popcorn. I was so confused, like, why is it smelling like popcorn? So I threw the oats outside, and then this morning there was a squirrel eating them, so I'm glad something wanted the oats. I'll have to retry. And then my work schedule changed, so we might stream more often. That's a big might. It is definitely not guaranteed. But if anything, the goal is we're finishing Walt's story today. And then I'm tired. And then Honkai Star Rail updates tonight. So we'll go live in like 9 hours from now. So we can pull for Sunday and maybe do Forgotten Hall. We'll see. But definitely pulling for Sunday tonight once the update's live. And then I bought some new games. This year's fall sale on Steam was actually pretty good. I bought 3 games, I think. That sounds right. You just came in the room. Stop it. Stupid cat. One of the games I bought was Alice Madness Returns. It is $1 right now. For I think less than a day. So if you want Alice, I would go buy it now, because $1, you can't beat $1 for Alice. It is a great game. So we might change our schedule so we can play Alice next. But besides Alice, I also got the second game of Simulanka. I was debating about the third one, but all the reviews I saw, a lot of them were like, it was pretty bad. So I was like, well, we'll buy the second one, because it was, I think, also $1 or something like that, $1.20. But probably won't play the third one then. And then we bought, I think it's Light. It's the same, I think it's by the same people who did One Bit Heart and Alice Mare, which are 2 really good games. I like Alice Mare a little more than One Bit Heart, but they're both really good, so I'm hoping this one's going to be just as good. I don't know much about it though. But yeah, so I think once we finish Walt's story, I think we're gonna play Alice instead of whatever I had on the schedule. Because I really want to play Alice again. And because of that, I finally got around to setting up the controller to the computer. And that was more work than I thought. My brother was like, oh yeah, you just plug in the controller and it works. Nah, it was a lot more work than just plug it in and play. But it's set up. So. Otherwise, I think we're almost ready. Give me a sec. Did that fix it? Let me reload. Well, maybe it's fixed for next time. Whatever. Oops. I just closed the game. Why are you not capturing the game? There we go.
Lives in a monochrome world.
We've never watched the little like opening cutscene before, so
the simple loss of love in her heart, making this whole fairy tale alive. Within sorrow's tender embrace, this was never meant to happen. Of the day, the only reason you have to stay. Hear me sing my song and just keep holding on. Cinderella, why don't you stay with me tonight? We will dance until midnight comes and we could run away. Oh, we will.
It is interesting to watch. I normally skip it. I've seen this before, but
would you wanna stay with me tonight? Follow me, we will run across the bridge of fantasy. All the pain and sadness that you feel. Believe in me, hold me close, don't never let me go. Come and stay with me forever. Magic lives so long as I am here.
Okay. Continue. So last time we went to the castle to grab a wooden box with a key, because apparently our mother was the one who cursed Walt and sealed his what? I can't think of the word I'm looking for. How to break his curse to us as a kid. So we went to go retrieve that because we remembered. And then found out it's a trap. But we do break the curse. And now we're in the dungeon. And our mom is alive? I don't know. Someone shaped like our mom is in front of us. So that's what we left off at. So let's see how this ends. I feel that I cannot trust my eyes because it is indeed Mother standing before us. Are you... like in a crystal? Are you in the tenebrium crystal? That would be an interesting thing. She looks the same as when I last saw her. She was like she has just been sleeping all of this time. What is Hilda doing here? Is this the crystallum tenebrium? She looks like she has been trapped inside the crystal, but how? No, she passed on 4 years ago. This is impossible. A lovely surprise, isn't it? The king immediately moves to stand in front of me. Sir Mythos saunters towards us, with a wide smile on his face, looking unperturbed. Isn't she exquisite? Even in slumber, she is still so beautiful. What is the meaning of this, Mythos? When Mythos does not answer, the king reaches for his knife and frowns. What exactly are you and Alacaster planning? I am offended that you are associating the two of us. My goals are different from Alacaster's. My only wish is to see my queen again. Alacaster is the one who is after your throne. What are you going to do with Mother? I plan to revive her. You plan on necromancy? Okay. Wasn't expecting that, sure. What? I stare at Sir Mythos, shocked. Revive Mother? Is that even possible, to bring back the dead? She is still alive, dear princess. My queen is only sleeping. Her link to the tenebrium has allowed her to survive all of these years. She infused the last of her power with the crystal and merged with it. She was wise. Yet even as its light grows dimmer, so too does the light of her life come close to being extinguished. No, that's not wise. That's just paranoid. That someone will come and kill you, so you have to somehow save yourself? No, that's all paranoia. That's not being wise. Once you have fully accepted your role as the new bearer of the crystallum tenebrium, her link with it will be severed and she will die. That's why I need you, princess. I need your power to bring her back to life. What? On your 18th birthday, you will inherit the crystal's power, and with the power, you will revive my queen. Isn't this what you always wanted, to have your beloved mother back? So you're forcing us into necromancy. But even if we do bring her back, we're still the ones who has the control of the tenebrium. She won't be all powerful anymore. It is true that I always wished for Mother to come back, but Delora and Parfait told me the truth, and now this is the last thing I want. What if Mother ruins the kingdom once again? I will not let that happen. I will not let my kingdom fall into darkness again. The king charges towards Sir Mythos with the knife in his hand. But Sir Mythos easily sends him flying backwards with a flick of his wrist and a magic spell. The knife falls to the ground just a few feet from where I stand. Your Majesty, I am about to run to him when Varg steps out of the darkness of the room and points a sword at the king's throat. Don't move, princess, otherwise my hand might slip. I freeze in my spot. Has he been here the whole time? Now, princess, you have an important decision to make. Help me revive the queen and save the king, or run away and he dies. My life is nothing compared to the lives that will be lost if Hildur is brought back. I will gladly trade my life for all the lives she would steal. Talk like a true king should. Foolish king, you cannot gamble your life when it is no longer in your hands. Sir Mythos growls at the king before facing me again. He flashes a crooked smile. How about it, princess? No, we're declining. We're not bringing Mother back. I cannot let Sir Mythos kill the king, but I cannot let him revive Mother either. If I can just improvise, I might be able to hold them long enough for some backup to arrive. I catch a glimpse of the king's knife, which is just a few feet from me, when an idea strikes me. Waltz, Parfait, Delora, they have to come for us. I refuse. What? Sir Mythos looks at me irritated. The king, however, looks relieved. The king's blood shall be on your hands then, Varg. I quickly lean down to pick up the knife and hold it to my own neck. Princess, what are you planning to do with that? Put that down before you hurt yourself. Let the king go, or I will kill myself. I know you need me to revive Mother. Ha, don't take me for a fool, princess. I know you do not have the courage to die a martyr. Annoyance simmers within me. Oh, are you sure of that? I swallow as I press the blade to my neck. I feel the sharp edge cut through skin, but the blade does not go deep enough to hit any vital parts. I cringe as my body is racked with pain and tears blur my vision. I am scared. You fool. Sir Mythos's face is pale as he attempts to step towards me. Now you see my resolve. Let the king go, Mythos. Mythos curses under his breath, his outstretched hand clenched into a tight fist before he draws it back. It's working. I feel myself relax, but my hope is short-lived and foolish. Yeah, no, you weren't supposed to relax. You have to wait until the king is saved, stupid. Lucetta. Mythos casts a spell, and the knife goes hot in my hand. A scream escapes my mouth as I fall to the floor and clench at my injured hand. You have been a very bad princess. Your mother would be disappointed in you. I glare at Mythos, but he only clicks his tongue, face stern. This would have been so much more pleasant if you'd chosen to work with me, princess. I will get what I want, princess. Even if I must break you to revive my queen, I will do it. I will suffer the consequences for it later. Mythos turns to Varg. Varg, put them both in the cells. I take a few steps back as Varg approaches us. All I manage to do is back myself into a wall. Varg looks at me, amused, like a cat toying with a mouse. He takes another step, but I do not get to see the movement he makes afterwards. A bright light engulfs the area, eliciting an agitated hiss from Mythos. Magic? But how? When the light clears, Varg is still standing, his eyes on my feet. I follow his gaze. That counted as a good deed? What? Or is it midnight and our curse is broken because Dolores said, regardless if we get 3 good deeds, our curse would be broken on our birthday. My shoes have been replaced with 2 beautiful glass slippers. I broke my curse? What did I do? The king looks at me, his eyes hazy. He opens his mouth to speak, but then stops when Mythos comes to hover just above him, his expression fixed into a glare. Oh, how charming. But your broken curse will not help you now, princess. Now, be a good girl and allow Varg to escort you to your cell. Varg takes us to one of the prison cells and locks us up. This time, be a good girl and don't try to escape. I scowl at him. He only smirks in response. Feisty as always. He flashes me a lopsided smile before taking his leave. Lucetta. The king quickly takes my hand in his and pulls me down to the floor to sit beside him. He reaches into his pocket, then withdraws a handkerchief. What is he doing? Cleaning your neck, stupid. You're bleeding everywhere. He neatly folds the cloth and leads us towards me. I cringe back on reflex. He gingerly presses the handkerchief into my injured skin. I cringe as I feel the pain. I am so sorry, Lucetta. Your injury is my fault. You have nothing to apologize for. I did it to save you, and yet here we are. I am the one that owes you an apology. I turn my gaze away in shame. The king cups my cheek and turns my head so that I am facing him. The gesture is so gentle, it moves me to tears. A father should be the one to protect his child, always. His face is twisted in pain as he stares at me, eyes brimming with tears. I see the recognition in his eyes. Well, obviously, the curse is broken. He would remember who you are. Having reunited with my father like this makes me realize I still care for him. Please forgive me. I already have. The words take a great weight off my heart. It is as if the ice that has been shrouding it for so long is finally melting away. Without another word, my father throws his arms around me, trapping me in a warm embrace. This is the first time he ever hugged me. I feel tears brimming in my eyes, and soon I am crying as I bury my face into my father's shoulder. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me, my dear daughter. We stay like this for what seems like a lifetime, leaning against each other and crying, silently asking for forgiveness. Once we are more relaxed, I sit down beside my father and tell him what has transpired since I was cursed. His expression becomes darker with every word that I speak. You have suffered so much, and I have not been able to ease that suffering in any way. No, my life as a commoner shows me things I have never appreciated before. It was more fulfilling than my life in the palace. The moment I became cursed might have been the first moment I started truly living. I take a deep breath as I contemplate the question that has been in my heart all this time. Your Majesty, have you ever loved me? I was terrified, but I still forced myself to look right at the king. I've always loved you, Lucetta. I value more than my own life. You are my everything, my dear. I blink at him, my eyes filled with tears. I've waited so long to hear those words from you. If you loved me, why were you not there for me? Why did you let Mother do this to me? Was it because I was her daughter? It is true that you are her daughter, but you are also mine. I don't even remember how His voice trails off, and he avoids my eyes. He sighs softly. I was put under a spell that night. Months later, you came along. I thought I could never bring myself to love you, not when you were the witch's daughter. But you were different. She was darkness and you were light, and then she corrupted you. Hilda forbid me to get close to you. She was afraid I would influence you to betray her. She told me that she would steal you away completely if I ever approached you. I couldn't bear the thought of losing my own daughter, so I did as she demanded. I had to watch you grow up from afar. I had to push you away. The only thing I could do for you was help you celebrate your birthday every year. The birthday surprise every year, the letter that led me to the secret birthday rooms, those surprises were always the highlight of my birthday. And this whole time, it was you who planned those surprises? I could not let you know that it was I who planned those surprises. The beautiful smile that you had on your face when you saw all of your gifts was more than enough. I'm really sorry for everything, Lucetta, for not being a good father, for not being there for you, for pushing you away. After your mother died, he paused, then shakes his head. After I had thought she died, I thought I might make it up to you, but I failed miserably as your father. You were already so far away from me. I tried to get closer to you, but I drove you away. I do not blame you. I think back to all those times. When he tried to talk to me or approach me, I would always walk away or refuse to talk to him. Because I hated him. I was convinced he didn't love me. I tried, but I tried too late and not hard enough. I should have tried to better understand you. I should have tried harder to see what your mother had done to you. I have never expected any sort of forgiveness, and yet you still give it to me. But now I am at a loss as to what to do to make it up to you. But you're here now, right? I smile at him hesitantly. He smiles back. He leans forward to place a kiss on my forehead, even as he wipes a tear away. I love you, Lucetta. I love you too, Father. He rests a hand on my cheek. Allow me to make it up to you. Allow me to protect you. You cannot bring her back, Lucetta. That would be there would be too many consequences. But if I refuse to help them, they will kill you. Father shakes his head and smiles. If I have to give up my life to give you and our kingdom a brighter future, then so be it. Princess, it's almost time to go. Father moves to stand in front of me. I won't let you take her. Varg doesn't answer. He silently taps his cane on the ground, creating the same energy force as before, sending Father back into the wall with an invisible force. Father staggers back to his feet and gazes at me with a pained expression. Don't do this, Lucetta. I ball my hands into tight fists. I have no other choice. I am sorry, Father, but I cannot let them kill you. I tried to smile at him reassuringly before walking away with Varg. The last thing I hear is him calling my name before Varg closes the door and there is silence in the hallway. I am once again standing in front of Mother's crystallized form. It's time, princess. Now, put your hand over the crystal. I stare at my mother's crystallized form in silence, but fear takes hold of my body. Time is of the essence, princess. I do as commanded and set my hands on the surface of the crystal. Moments later, the clock strikes 12 and my body suddenly grows heavy. So we did break our curse by ourselves. Not just having it break because of our birthday. A strange power begins to flow through me. What is happening? I attempt to pull my hands back, but to no avail. Not only are they heavy, but they feel as if they are glued to the crystal. Even as I struggle to move, I feel my energy dim as the crystal grows brighter and brighter. Yes. I blink a few times as tears begin to sting my eyes. I bite my lip, an attempt to keep myself from falling unconscious, and the effort only makes me taste blood. Lucetta. Did you make a portal? Out of the corner of my eye, I catch a glimpse of Waltz by the door, his hand glowing as he prepares to cast the spell. Waltz's eyes meet mine, his expression contorting in anger as he turns to glare at Mythos. This is madness, Myth. You're too late, Waltz. Just a little bit more, and the energy transfer will be complete. And my queen will be free from her prison. Oh, so it's stealing my power, not us just using necromancy to bringing her back. Okay. I won't let you do this. Waltz releases his spell as Mythos, who quickly conjures a shield to protect himself. I feel so weak. I feel my knees give out. The next thing I know, Waltz stands beside me with a dagger. He drives the edge of the dagger into the tenebrium surface, cracking it slightly. And then I am free. Waltz catches me in his arms just before my body hits the floor. Stay with me, Lucetta. My body relaxes when I feel his arms around me. I squint up at his face, but his features are blurry. I have to blink a few times to clear my vision. I knew you'd come back. Thank you for trusting me. I will always come back for you, no matter the risks. Thank you. Don't speak, princess. Save your strength. How did you get in here? Who has yellow magic? What? Oh, Parfait? Okay. It looks like we made it just in time. Parfait steps through the hole in the wall with her outburst of magic created. She looks solemn. You, how dare you show your face here? You who tried to kill my beloved queen. Kill? Mythos raises his hand to cast a spell, but Parfait quickly freezes him in place with a flick of her wrist. I'm surprised, but then I realize that Parfait is the Lucis bearer. Even in her weakened state, it seems she is a force to be reckoned with. She turns to face me with a weak smile on her face. As the bearer of the Crystallum Lucis, it is my duty to stop Hildur. Such was my goal even back then. Even when the two of us were dear friends. While Parfait is speaking, Varg slowly moves forward with his cane. He seems just about ready to bring it down to the ground when Parfait turns in place and casts a spell. The magic hits the cane head-on, shattering it on impact. Varg somehow seems surprisingly calm. It's a good thing that wasn't the only weapon I had, huh? Varg suddenly charges towards Parfait, something silver and sharp glistening in his hand. I like how Parfait just is nonchalant about someone running at her with a knife. Parfait doesn't even move as she casts another spell, knocking Varg back against the wall. The knife in his hand clatters to the ground. Varg staggers back to his feet. The mask covering his eyes falls from his face as he stands. When he looks up, my blood turns cold. Fritz? Okay. Varg wags his finger at me, his smile crooked. Maybe I look like him a little, but you can't seriously think we're the same person, do you? I clutch Waltz's shirt between my fingers as I stare. Everything begins to feel hazy once again. What's going on? Lucetta. Lucetta. I hear my father before I see him. When I turn, he is limping towards us with a pained expression on his face. I can only assume that he somehow made it out of his cell, or that someone helped him out. Waltz's arm is still there to support me as I walk towards Father. Father reaches out to touch both of my cheeks. His warmth makes me flinch. You are cold. I will be fine. Father clenches his fists and turns to Mythos. It's over now, Mythos. Not quite. Oh, we actually revived our mother. A bright light suddenly surrounds the tenebrium, and the whole room is engulfed in white. I should have killed you a long time ago, dear Gennaro. And her magic is white. Okay. Ugh. Father. I am unable to see what is happening, but as soon as the light disappears, I see what horror has happened before me. I scream when I spot the large gash in my father's chest. Blood pours from a wound, from a blade of light. I catch my father in my arms as he stumbles back. Waltz quickly comes to stand beside me to support him. Father! Now, this kingdom is mine once again. The voice is familiar, but distantly so. It is a voice from my memories. She looks cuter than I was expecting she was gonna look. I do like the sheer like robe thing she's wearing. It's a nice color. I look up and suddenly there she is. My mother stands before me, beautiful and regal. Her eyes are cold, lacking any kind of love, as she looks over at me. Lucetta, welcome back, my queen. Mythos, who had somehow managed to escape from Parfait, is now down on one knee before Mother. Hildur. Hello, dear Fate? Fit? It's been a while. Parfait puts a hand to her chest as she begins to cough. She collapses to her knees. You've grown weaker since we last fought. Lady Parfait. Mother's eyes snaps to Waltz and narrows. I see the traitor is here too. I also see that you've managed to reunite with my daughter. Mother flicks her wrist as she casts her spell. You will pay for what you did to me. Stay back. Step back. Parfait quickly steps in front of us and an invisible barrier appears just as Mother conjures a series of sharp ice projectiles. They bounce harmlessly off the shield, but I can feel the rumble in the ground as they tumble down to the floor. Ugh, Parfait. Parfait is still kneeling on the ground. Now I can see blood on her lips. Lucetta. I look down at my father. His shirt is soaked with blood, but his eyes are still barely open. Father. I feel tears brimming in my eyes. The room fills with light, this time emitted from the floor. Slowly, our surrounding begins to blur. Go then, run away, Parfait. That's all you've ever done. Parfait's voice is pressed and pained as she speaks. We will stop you, Hildur. The last thing I see is Mother's wicked smile. Then the light swallows us whole. When the light fades, we are back in the marchen. Parfait is still on the ground, though now she seems like she might sink into it. Lady Parfait, I'll be fine. Just call Rumple, quickly. Walt starts from the room immediately. Father, please hold on. My father's clothes are now dyed a thick crimson that stains my hands and dress. Moments later, Walt returns with Rumple. He rushes over to the king the moment he sees him. Rumple tears my father's shirt open, revealing a deep wound on his chest. He quickly looks over his body and then attempts to apply pressure to the wound, but the bleeding does not stop. He's lost too much blood. Can't you do something? I will do my best, but there's only so much I can do, Princess. I cannot perform miracles. There is a faraway look in his eyes as he says this, and an almost pained expression on his face. His helpless expression makes the panic surge in me again. You call yourself a doctor? Lucetta, calm down. I cannot lose him, Waltz. I don't have much time left, Lucetta. I turn to look down at my father, my eyes filling with tears. No, don't say that, Father. I wanted to see you become queen, but it seems that this is the end for me. I collapse beside Father, and he reaches up a shaking hand to touch my wet cheek. Protect our kingdom. I can only nod at him. I will always be with you. I love you, Lucetta, and I am proud that you are my daughter. Father smiles at me, and it is so genuine and warm that it brings fresh tears to my eyes. His eyes slowly close, but the smile never leaves his lips. Father? I shake him, but he does not react. No! I lean over my father, willing him to come back, to open his eyes, but he is no longer breathing. For the first time in my life, I cry for my father. I don't think this is... obviously, we're most likely leaning towards the bad ending, but I think where we are, having our mother revived and our father getting killed must happen in both the good and bad ending. Because we're only in chapter 7. We're not far enough into to have it change drastically. So that does suck that our father dies pretty much for nothing. And now most likely go to war against our mother. Ever since my father's death, I have locked myself in my room. I am filled with constant grief and pain, but have become numb to the inside. Numbed on the inside. Even when I want to cry, the tears won't come. Lucetta, I brought you something to eat. I am in no mood to eat. Walt sets the tray down and walks towards me. The blankets crumple as he sits down beside me. Slowly, he wraps his arms around me and strokes my hair. What happened wasn't your fault, Lucetta. He did what any father would do for his daughter. He did not deserve to die the way he did. by Mother's hand. I know. I curl my fingers into Waltz's shirt. I do not want to lose anyone anymore, Waltz. Waltz continues to stroke my hair. It'll be fine, I promise. For now, you need to rest, Lucetta. I'll be here by your side until you fall asleep. He plants a kiss on my forehead, and I close my eyes, relishing in his warmth. Waltz's hold is firm but comfortable, and I sink into his arms as I fall into a dreamless sleep. Days later, the palace announces Father's death. It isn't long before Alacaster is given his crown. The announcement of his ascension comes with an explanation of the king's death. The pageant paints me as a criminal, telling the townsfolk that I was the one that killed the king. I am labeled as a fugitive, and the royal family is officially declared missing. We have all been in hiding together since then, the royal family included. Now, it's been 2 weeks since Father died. The longer time moves on, the more aware I become of one gaping realization. Mother has not shown herself to the public. She can't. They would have publicly stated she's dead. So unless she drastically changes her appearance, she can't go out into public either. What could she be plotting? I place my hand over my heart, willing the pain away. Every time I think of Mother, I remember the sort of light that went through Father's body. Enough time has passed. Even though I am suffering losses, I cannot stand idle. I have a promise to fulfill. I will protect our kingdom. I am about to go back to my room when Parfait calls me. Dolores stands beside her. Lucetta, can we talk with you? I look away, avoiding their eyes. What is it that you want to discuss with me? It's about the tenebrium. Despite Hilder's revival, it appears that the crystal's light is still dim. That can only mean one thing. Hilder is still weak. Still weak. Hilder was absorbing all of your powers when we found you. We interrupted the process. The crystal was not able to absorb all of your magic, all the magic you now possess. That is why she is still weak. Also, there is something else that bothers me about the crystal. Something odd. Odd? The bearer has a very strong bond with their crystal. A mutual relationship of sort. But the bond was absent when she returned. What are you saying? It seems as if the crystal is forsaking their bond. What? It seems even the crystal knows that Hilder's time has come and gone, Princess. The crystal has already chosen you as its next bearer. It's a small blessing, but it doesn't change the fact that Hilder is still the strongest witch. At least, that is what she wants us to think. Parfait and Delora exchange a glance. The crystal has chosen its next bearer, and you have just as much potential, if not even more. Delora turns to me, her usual lax expression more solemn. Are you ready to learn magic, Lucetta? Magic that you will potentially use to defeat your mother? I have never used magic before in my life. I've never been raised as a witch, and using magic to defeat Mother, I do not know. Well, regardless of what your decision you make, we'll be here to support you. Delora and I want you to know that. How is it that they are still willing to help me when I was the one that caused this whole mess? I need some fresh air. I begin to walk towards the door when I see Ophelia walk in from the tavern. Our eyes briefly meet, and she opens her mouth to say something, then stops when I shake my head. I do not want to hear her blame me for Father's death. Certainly that must be what she is thinking. Ophelia frowns, but does not speak. I quicken my pace, almost running as I head into the forest. The night is silent and calm, and the only sound I can hear is the gentle sway of the grass as I step through it. Mother is back because of me. If I hadn't revived her, Father would still be alive. How am I supposed to face everyone knowing that? Waltz has been trying to cheer me up. While I appreciate his company and concern, even he cannot help me come to terms with my mistake. I hear footsteps behind me. I turn to see Waltz approach me with a frown on his face. Lucetta, please, I am not in the mood to listen to your reassurance again. I do not need you to tell me again that this was not my fault. Lucetta, your father wouldn't want to see you like this. How would you know what my father wanted? I snap at him without meaning to, not bothering to hide the irritation in my voice. He'd want you to walk forward, and not linger on the past that cannot be changed. You've been distancing yourself from us since the king passed. Don't think that I haven't noticed. Why is that? Because this is the only way I can keep them safe. We're not gonna say anything. You know that I've always been by your side, Lucetta. Shouldering the burden will only worsen your pain. Worsen? I already know the pain of losing someone that I love. I have brought nothing but suffering to those around me. I cannot get close to anyone again, lest I put them in danger. I have already lost my father, and I do not want to lose anyone else. Especially not you, Waltz. Waltz's eyes widen as he stares at me. I want to show you something. Keep your eyes open, Lucetta. You can't miss it. Waltz snaps his finger, and a golden orb of light suddenly springs to life around us. That is not an orb of light. That's little, like, fireflies. Don't lie to me. I can only marvel at the orbs of light floating around us. They look like stars dancing through the night. It's beautiful. You cannot truly appreciate how bright a star is without darkness. Walt snaps his fingers again, and most of the lights go out. During difficult times, the lights grow dimmer. He snaps again, until only one light remains. When you're all alone, it grows even dimmer still. There are things that you cannot do on your own. Otherwise, you risk suffocating your own light out. Another snap, and the golden orbs return, this time in greater numbers. The lights are brighter than they were before. You're not alone, Lucetta. I love you, and it hurts to see you suffering alone like this. My heart is pounding so hard, I feel it might escape my chest. In this moment, it feels as if time has stopped, and that it is just the two of us. All I can see is Waltz, and I stand here, staring at him. I come to a realization. I love him. When did this happen? Lucetta. Oh my god. A few minutes later, I realize it does not matter. I stand on the tip of my toes so that I could cup Waltz's face in my hands. I move before I can think, leaning over to plant a kiss on his lips. He looks so shocked. I feel an arm around me as Waltz pulls me closer. The kiss becomes more heated, and I feel a gentle flame stirring in my stomach, even as my mind becomes foggy. I feel his tongue on my lips, but when I part them, he has suddenly drawn away, his face deep red. You call that a deep red? He's not even blushing. Sorry. I needed to catch my breath. I feel the heat in my cheeks, and I have to fight back my embarrassment. I just kissed Waltz. I look up at Walt, suddenly realizing how close he is to me. I quickly bury my face into his chest to hide my embarrassment. Walt's chest rises and falls with his gentle laughter. You're so cute. I close my eyes, allowing his warmth to envelop me like a blanket. I love you, my little star. This is not just your battle anymore, Lucetta. You don't have to carry this burden alone. So please, trust in me, trust in us. I am overwhelmed, but Waltz's words make me feel strangely light, as if a weight has truly been lifted from my shoulders. I will. Thank you. We should go back now, or else everyone might get worried. Waltz places a soft kiss on my forehead and smiles at me as he pulls away. He extends a hand towards me. Let's go, my little star. I smile as I slowly take his hand. We walk back to the merchant, hand in hand, momentarily forgetting about all the bad things that had transpired. Chapter 8. Hope. Chapter 7 was really long. I'm not entirely sure we'll actually finish this today, because I'm already hungry. It has been almost 3 weeks since Mother's revival, and yet I have not heard or seen anything of her. What are you planning to do, Mother? Parfait told me before that the Tenebrium had already chosen me as the next bearer. Does that have anything to do with why Mother is still hiding? It is impossible not to feel the weight of my new responsibility. I have not yet fully accepted that I am now the bearer, but I cannot run from this responsibility for long. The Tenebrium bearer's duty is to work along with Parfait to balance the light and darkness of the kingdom. That balance has only just begun mending before Mother's sudden revival. For nights I've been wondering if there is some other way to stop Mother without fighting her. A small part of me hopes that perhaps Mother can still change. I think about that, and then I remember how Mother so heartlessly killed Father as soon as she had been revived. She was sleeping for 4 years, but that did not change her mind. Even now, I can only assume that she still means to make this kingdom suffer. It feels as if my heart is twisting itself into knots. I gasp when a bright spark fizzles to life in my hands. I clench and unclench my hands, taking deep breaths to calm myself. Ever since I started trying to work with magic, it has been activating on its own. Whenever I feel any sort of deep emotions, some type of electricity sparks in my hands. It is all I can do to try and keep my emotions in check. The last thing I want is to accidentally burn down the merchant or hurt anyone inside of it. Delora and Waltz has both agreed to start teaching me how to use my magic. For the last few days, the forest near the merchant has served as the training grounds. Parfait constantly cloaks the merchant in powerful magic to keep our presence hidden from Mother and the other witches. It allows us to use our magic without worrying about being tracked. Still, Parfait's constant spell has considerably weakened her. Delora and Waltz tried to convince her not to cast it in the first place, but Parfait insists that we remain as close to the Tenebrium as possible, rather than moving somewhere safer. She told us all that I need to be close to the Tenebrium as its bearer. As far as we know, the crystal is still unmoved in the palace. I know that the chance I will face Mother in battle of magic is extremely high, Although I fear the outcome, I have no choice but to consider the possibility. Time is running out, and I do not have the luxury of waiting much longer. I must decide what to do. They all believe that I am the one who can stand up to Mother, even when with so little practice. Last night, I told Parfait that I would make my decision the next day, and that I would tell everyone what I had decided. Now, it is time for that decision. When I step into the reception room, everyone is already waiting for me. I catch Waltz's eyes first. He cocks his head ever so slightly, his lips stretched into a warm smile. I nod at him and smile back. I take a deep breath before facing everyone. This is the first time I have spoken properly with everyone since my father's death. Before I tell you all my decision, I want to apologize for everything that I've done and for everything that has happened. Mother is back because I was a coward, and Father died because I was weak. Lucetta. Ophelia is the first one to respond. It wasn't your fault, dear. I stare down at the ground with my hands clenched. I try to will my anger away, but only manage a few deep, stilling breaths before I look up again. I brought Mother back because I feared that disobedience would have them kill my father. Yet in the end he was still... The image of Father's smiling face flashes through my mind. I clear my throat. I promised him that I would protect Angelia, and that is what I intend to do. I will do everything I can to protect our kingdom. Spoken like a true queen. The words are shocking, even more so when they come out of Dolores' mouth. Queen? Why do you seem so surprised, princess? You know you're next in line for the throne. I haven't even thought about being the next ruler. I am not even sure I have the right qualities. Can I really do this? I wanted to see you become queen, protect our kingdom. I cannot let Father down. I have to do this for his sake, but the kingdom comes before the crown. I will only take the crown if I can win it back. I will need your help. I'm still weak, but that will not stop me from training every day until we face Mother. I hope I am not asking for too much, but I hope you will all fight with me to protect our kingdom together. You don't even need to ask us that, Lucetta. It goes without saying that we'll help you in any way we can. I second that. We'll all be here for you. I smile at everyone gathered. So this is what it feels to be trusted and needed. It feels good. It will be hard, but I will stop Mother. Together, we might stand a chance against her. Hildur is strong, but not invulnerable. Parfait looks at me, eyebrows furrowed. You know what we must do to stop Hildur, princess? I feel a tinge of pain in my chest, but force my eyes to hold Parfait's gaze. I look into Parfait's eyes with determination. I do. Later that same day, I resume my training with Waltz while Parfait and Delora try to come up with a plan. Durin and Garland return to the town to listen for any information regarding Mother and Alacaster or any happenings in the palace. I force myself to focus on learning how to use my magic as fast as I can. Waltz is continuing his lessons on barriers. He has been teaching me the same spell for the past week, emphasizing my protection. Let's review the types of barriers I've been trying to teach you. Do you remember them? One shields you from harm while the other deflects a spell back at the caster. Powerful spells cannot be deflected. That's why you need to be able to tell which spells can be reflected and which cannot, otherwise you'll end up using the wrong barrier. A single mistake can cost you your life. So, How do I know what barrier I must use? Allow me to demonstrate. You've seen me cast spells many times, so you should be able to tell the difference between them. But for now, let's think of it as another game. Just take a guess. Who knows? You might actually give me the right answer. I'll give you a nice little treat if you do. A treat. He always did like treating me in town. It's special this time. I wonder if this is like those other sweets he treated me to before. Walt snaps his fingers, and a glimmering but faint purple light appears around him. It is faded at first, but slowly becomes brighter as he moves his hands. Usually the effects of Walt's magic are immediate, but this spell is taking longer to cast. Is it stronger magic? I remember Waltz telling me before that it takes a lot of energy to cast a stronger barrier. Does that apply to offensive spells as well? Question time. What kind of barrier would you use? We can't deflect strong spells, so a shield. A slow casting time makes this seem like a powerful spell, and the powerful spells cannot be deflected. Surely this is the right answer. Is that your final answer? Yes, that is my final answer. Don't play with me like this. My confidence is thwarted by sudden indecision. Lucetta, in the midst of a battle, you won't have the luxury of time to think about your decision. I look at him and nod. It should be the right answer. That is correct. Now prepare your shield. I've never shielded myself from a powerful spell. What if my barrier breaks? Trust in yourself, Lucetta. I do as instructed and stretch out my hands to cast the barrier to shield myself. Why is your magic blue now? Here I go. My hands shake as Waltz's spell collides with my barrier. I plant my feet to hold myself upright. Such a strong spell. When the light dispatches, I look up hesitantly before smiling triumphantly when I see that my barrier is still in one piece. I did it. Well done, little star. I eye the barrier again. My heart sinks when I notice new cracks in its surface, my barrier. Don't fret, Lucetta. Even the strongest barrier will obtain cracks after being hit by a powerful spell. That is when you set up your next barrier. Your opponent will usually make the mistake of assuming you have the same shield up and attack you with a weaker spell to try to break it. You can be ready for them with a new barrier. I nod. I'm impressed with how fast a learner you are. I have a good teacher. I think you're just a good student. So, when will you teach me offensive spells? I don't think you need to learn those quite yet. The witches we're up against will probably stick to offense. Often means protecting yourself will be even more vital than trying to attack them. I told everyone that I would fight, and I meant it. If I need to hurt someone to save someone, I will do it. I look him in the eyes, my gaze unwavering. I still need to learn, even if it is just one offensive spell, Waltz. What if I need to protect you? I cannot do that just by conjuring barriers. I will not lose anyone else this time, Waltz. I look up at Waltz, and my heart aches at the sight of his frown. I do not want to lose you either. That is why I need to be as strong as possible. I want to be able to protect you. Waltz makes his way over to me in just a few strides and pulls me into his arms. I will do what I can to save you from a repeat of what happened last time, Lucetta. But you won't lose me. Waltz pulls back and looks at me, his expression warm and gentle. Here's your treat, as promised. Is it a kiss? It is a kiss. Waltz bends down to place his lips over mine in a soft kiss. It is a short-lived kiss, but it is still enough to make me breathless. You're all red, Lucetta. That was your special treat? Disappointed? I quickly press my cheek to his chest to keep him from seeing my tinted cheeks. No. Let's call it a day. You need to rest. Teach me an offensive spell first. Lucetta, we've been practicing since morning, and it will be dark soon. You already know that overusing your magic will take a toll on your body, especially when you're still getting accustomed to it. I shake my head at Waltz, determined. Using my magic before did wear me out, but now I can handle more. What kind of bearer would I be if I couldn't handle this much? Please, I'm begging you, Waltz. He eventually sighs and rubs the back of his neck. Okay, but just one spell. Thank you. He steps away from me. What I will teach you is a lightning spell. It's not for the faint-hearted. It will inflict excruciating pain on your enemies and also potentially paralyze them. I nod as Waltz continues his explanation. Though I try my best to conjure the electricity, I have only managed sparks at the end of the day. I collapse onto my bed. I can feel the exhaustion lying over me like a blanket. I can barely move my arms after trying the spell over and over again. I need to learn that spell as soon as possible. I yawn and then close my eyes. Sleep comes easily that night. Lucetta, that voice. Come back to me, my sweet princess. No, you have no choice in this, little one. You will come back to me, whether you like it or not. I will be waiting for you. I sit up in my bed, my heart pounding loudly in my chest and in my ears. A dream? I wipe on its unexpected beads of sweat from my forehead as I calm myself with steady breaths. No, I will never go back to you, Mother. I end up waking up later than usual as a result of my practice from yesterday. When I step inside the reception room, I see Jern and Garland speaking with Parfait, Delora, and Waltz. There is a definite solemnity to the air. They all turn to look at me as I approach. Did something happen? The princess, the palace made an announcement today. They are issuing a higher bounty on your head for murder and treason. What? It was very strange. What with the fact they haven't even bothered to look for you since that day. Something must have happened that forced them to suddenly act. Dolores soon gathers everyone in the room to discuss Jern and Garland's discovery. The only one who is not here is Anise, who is in town buying ingredients for the marching meals. But Lucetta didn't kill anyone. Isn't there some way to convince them? Alacaster is in power now, and the people favor him. Now that everyone remembers who I am, they are once again frightened of me. No one will listen to you. They haven't seen how much you've changed. If only they could understand your circumstance. Then they might be more sympathetic. I look at Emily in surprise and find myself smiling at her. Thank you for your kind words. I turn to everyone once again and frown. Once again, I am the one putting everyone in danger. I am so sorry. If any one of them get hurt, I will never forgive myself. Waltz takes my hand and squeezes it. The simple gesture does wonders to calm my nerves. Don't be too hard on yourself, Lucetta. We've told you already. We want to help you. We're in this together. He's right. I am not sure if there's much Rod, Emily, and I can do, but we will definitely support you until the end. Before, I might have cringed at her words, but now, Ophelia has nothing to gain from pretending. Mother is right. We are family. We will not abandon you. Ophelia and Emily are both smiling at me warmly. Even Rod seems to have a ghost of a smile on his face. Thank you. I apologize for bringing this up, Karma, but is it possible to ask for reinforcements from Brigantia? Brigantia? Brigantia is one of our neighboring kingdoms. We have never had close ties, mostly because Brigantia's king tends to stay away from our personal and political affairs. They have always refused to engage in any sort of violent affairs. We'll look at Karma, who stands there looking solemn. After a few moments, he lets out an exasperated sigh. You want me to ask the kingdom of Britannia for help. I remember Karma mentioning before that he was part of a noble family, but I did not expect him to be from Britannia. What is he doing here, and how could he possibly ask help from a king? The king does not participate in battles or skirmishes. It seems unlikely he would provide support. He wouldn't provide assistance, not even if his own son asked him? Son, you mean... Karma crosses his arms and sighs. Well, I suppose there's no hiding it anymore. Yes, I am the son of King Clement of Britannia. Judging from the sudden quiet in the room, it seems that Parfait, Delora, Waltz, and the knights were the only ones that knew. You're the Lost Prince? Lost Prince? Jenner told me that King Clement's oldest son had disappeared just a year ago. There were circumstances. My family never knew I had the fairy tale curse. I was forced to leave my kingdom so that I could come here to break my curse. He came to Angelia to break his curse? His eyes wander slowly to me, but then forces once more on the conversation. To answer your question, though, no, I do not believe my father would send help. He hasn't heard from me since I left a year ago, and he would most likely think me some kind of imposter unless I showed up at the kingdom's doorstep. Even then, he would have too many questions, and we'd never get the help we were seeking in time. It seems we can't rely on them for help then. We all turned to stare at Anise. The fine lady Anise has suddenly appeared in the margin. What magic is this? I actually just came back. I'm sorry for startling you all, but I found this, and I had to bring it back. Her smile fades as she pulls out a flyer for us to see. An announcement? From the looks of it, 4 days from now, Alacaster will make a speech about the changes that will happen in Angelia. Changes? That doesn't sound very promising. It means bad news, but it might be worthwhile to take a look. This might give us some insight onto what's happening in the palace. Hildur is still in hiding, but it seems very likely she could be involved in all of this somehow. They could be plotting something special for that day. Garland and I can go to the event then. We'll make sure not to stand out. I am coming too. Lucetta, I need to know what is happening. I cannot hide forever, Waltz. I will go, and I do not need anyone's permission to do so. Well, I guess you're technically the next queen after all. Delora, don't encourage her. We both know how stubborn she is. She won't stay put even if we command her to. Delora looks at me and winks. Parfait lets out a heavy sigh. Waltz and Karma will accompany her then. Waltz nods. Karma looks somewhat startled, but eventually nods as well. So, until that day comes, we all need to prepare for the worst case scenario. have been practicing my magic non-stop since the day we heard of Alacaster's speech. I continue to work on my barriers while also continuously attempting that one offensive spell Waltz tried to teach me. Okay, remember what I told you. Focus your energy on the tips of your fingers until you feel the current flow through your veins. Okay. Good, now try to cast the spell at me again. I stretch out my hand and imagine the energy gathering at my fingertips. I see sparks as I begin to cast the spell. Good, keep going. At the end of my casting time, I can feel the lightning snaking up and down my arms. Now release it. I direct the spell at Waltz with as much strength as I can muster, but it barely touches his barrier before it fades away. I groan. You're getting there, Lucetta. The magic is weak, but it might still be able to paralyze someone for a time, so long as you hit them when they don't have a barrier up. But the speech is tomorrow. I will not be able to master it by then. You don't need to. Let's not assume things will go so bad. We're only going there to watch a speech. If that's all it is, you won't need your magic. The two of us continue to delegate work, but after a few more rounds, my arms are sore and my mind is foggy. Waltz calls it a day, and the two of us retire to our room for the night. I have tossed and turned in my bed for what feels like an hour, but sleep still will not come. It has been almost a month since I last went into town, and it is impossible to not imagine the worst possible scenario for tomorrow. I will probably be awake until sunrise. I turn to glance at the doll that Waltz gave me so long ago. She sits on my table, her glassy eyes staring back at me. I wonder if he's already asleep. Maybe he can help me calm my nerves. Waltz, there is only silence. Maybe he is already asleep. I am about to leave when the door suddenly opens. Why were you outside? Lucetta? Hello, Waltz. Let me guess. Couldn't sleep? I nod. Come in, then. Oh, no. We were just in the hallway. Okay. I sit on his bed and look around. My eyes shift to the table where I notice a pile of sewing materials and an assortment of puppets. Have you been working on your puppets? Yeah, I couldn't sleep either. It's been a while since I last did a show, but I want to make sure my puppets and materials are ready to go once this is all over. I am sure the children are looking forward to seeing your shows again. Yeah. Silence ensues as Waltz sits down beside me with one of his puppets. He begins to slowly sew at one of the seams. The silence is deafening. He looks busy, but maybe I should say something. Why can't we just sit in nice silence together? I think that's what we'll do. Remain silent. No, I do not want to disturb him. I continue to watch him in silence. After a few moments, he hesitantly breaks the silence. I hope that the children are looking forward to the new story I have to tell them. I'm sure that they are. Who knows, maybe after all this is over, I'll finally let you be my assistant. I do think I deserve to join you on stage, Mr. Magician. We'll see. Talking about what happens afterwards makes me feel normal. It gives me some hope. Hope that eventually everything will go back to normal. I feel better now. Thank you, Waltz. Oh, I'm not sure I even did anything. You have just by being here with me. Wow, that was a bad sentence. You know I'd do anything for you, little star. Little star. There is that nickname again. Does it bother you? No, I was just wondering where it came from. Oh, right, I never told you the story, did I? Back when I was still your mother's apprentice, my life was dull and empty. Then you showed up. Your circumstances were the same as mine, but your light never faded. You became my hope in that dark place, my light. That is why I consider you my little star. I can only stare at Walt's smile at me. Right now, all I want is to stay by his side, to stay within the comforts of his warmth. I look at him and a thought shifts in my head, tinting my cheeks pink. What is it? Can I stay with you tonight? We're gonna share a bed? Oh no, how could we? A huge scandal right here. Lucetta. What? Well, Walt's face turns tomato red. He looked shocked. I can't? It's not that I don't want you to, but I mean... He glances away and begins mumbling to himself. I suddenly feel dejected. Don't make that face, little star. Walt sighs. Okay, you can stay. Really? Yeah. We both lay side by side in the bed, shifting only slightly. Waltz is especially stiff. I wonder why. I loop my arms around his waist and snuggle into the crook of his neck. Waltz tenses beneath me. I feel like I'm being punished. What? Nothing. Thank you for letting me stay. My room felt colder than normal tonight. I couldn't help think about tomorrow and then about father, and my words trail off as I try to focus on Waltz's warmth. Please do not leave me as well, Waltz. Lucetta, look at me. I move back to look up at him. Waltz stares at me with an intensity that makes it difficult to look away. His features are illuminated by the soft moonlight, making them stand out all the more. My heart skips a beat. I'm not going out anywhere, Lucetta. I will always be wherever you are. I promise to always protect you. I reach out to touch his cheek. Thank you. He smiles at me before putting his arms around my waist and pulling me closer. I snuggle against his chest, taking in his warmth. I eventually fall asleep in his arms. Today is the day. Everyone has been busy preparing for the speech. I was told to relax, and I have used the opportunity to move into the forest and get some fresh air. If only everywhere was as peaceful as this. Lucetta. I turn around to see Ophelia slowly walking towards me, a hesitant smile on her face. Ophelia? I'm sorry that I cannot be much help during these distressing times. You've already helped me enough, Ophelia. You supported father when I did not. You have stayed safe, and you and the others. You've truly changed. Ophelia takes my hands in hers and looks at me solemnly. Promise me you'll come back to us. I'll be praying that nothing happens today, but if it does, I beseech you to put your safety first. Ophelia. I may not be your real mother, but you have always been my daughter. Guilt floods through me. I have been cruel to her ever since she first came into our lives, and yet she still treats me so warmly. I do not deserve your kindness. After all I've done to you, Emily, and Rod, I am so sorry. Ophelia pulls me into a hug and smooths down my hair. That's all in the past now, dear. What matters now is the present. I nod and close my eyes. I missed out on so many things when I closed my heart up to everyone. I'd always thought I was alone, but I was wrong. Thank you, Ophelia. Sir Alacaster's speech starts in an hour, and everyone is making last-minute preparations before we go into town. Ophelia, Emily, and Anise will stay behind as Rod and Rumple volunteer to watch over them. Delore and Parfait left yesterday to attend a meeting with the fairies. Apparently, they found someone who holds important information about Mother and her plans. Emily approaches me, her eyebrows creased. Lucetta, should you see your mother there, what will you do? I haven't really thought about it yet. We are bound to face her sometime soon. I know that she is your mother, Princess, but are you emotionally ready to face her? I am taken aback by her question. Jurin, I apologize for being blunt, but we all have to consider the worst possible scenario, don't we? I need to know that the princess is ready to face her. In a battlefield, one must not hesitate. Jurin continues to look at me, waiting for my answer. I finally face her with determination. I will face her. I will stop her. Chapter 9. The Queen. That was a much shorter chapter than 7 was. Okay, so if we're on the bad ending path, this will be the last chapter. If somehow we guessed correctly and got the good ending, we have 2 chapters left. I stand in an alleyway with Waltz, Jurin, and Karma, making sure to stay hidden in the shadows as we watch the sea of people moving towards the plaza. Jurin is scouting around the plaza for the knight's position, and we have been waiting for him. There's so many people. Okay, this is where we split up. Remember that we're trying to avoid needless battle. If anything should happen, fleeing is the better option. I'm not a fool. I would not pick a fight that would put everyone in needless danger. I'm glad you understand. Remember, we're only here to watch and listen. I don't want us to get into a skirmish even if we can avoid it. So should anything go wrong, we need you to retreat, Princess. I understand. Your safety is our number 1 priority after all. He's right. Your life is most valuable. Remember, Princess, your life doesn't belong to you anymore. This kingdom's future is in your hands. I look away. I know that. Jurin's Garland suddenly appears with a stiff frown. Look who I found. Fritz, what are you doing here? I turned to look at Garland and then noticed the man behind him. My eyes widened at the sight of him. Fritz? Garland pushes him and Fritz stumbles forward. He falls to his knees only a few inches away from me. You're okay. Thank goodness you're all right, Princess. I twitch at the sight of his face. There's no sign of the wicked smile that was on his face when he was under the guise of Varg. Though he looks confused, the relief in his eyes seemed genuine. Are you truly Fritz, or are you Varg, or both? I'm the Fritz you've always known, Princess, your loyal knight. I raise an eyebrow. I can still remember what happened weeks ago when the mask fell off his face in the room with the tenebrium. In that moment, I saw Fritz's face no matter what Varg said. Varg was in league with Alacaster Mythos. The man I saw back then was definitely Fritz, even if he never confirmed it. What are you doing here? Fritz flinches. I've been searching for you. Why? So you can take me back to Mythos, or are you here to kill me? Fritz bows low, his clenched hands trembling at his sides. I will not surrender you to Sir Mythos. My loyalty has always been to the kingdom and to you. I would never hurt you, Princess. But I don't blame you for doubting me. My father, I would have stopped him if I knew. Fritz glances up at me slowly, his expression resolute. I had just escaped yesterday when I was captured by knights. I managed to escape from them today, but only barely. I was supposed to meet the Lucis Bear yesterday. Fritz glares, not at me, but through me as if remembering something unpleasant. That was when I was able to take control of my body again just a few days ago. I've been searching for you, but instead found some witches who seem to be in league with the Lucis Bearer. I requested an audience with her as soon as possible because I wasn't sure how long I could keep Varg at bay. Fritz explained. About Varg? No, about this audience. Princess, this could all be some elaborate ruse of his. I have a responsibility to at least hear him out. What do you want from Parfait? I have important information about Hildur. Mother. Lady Parfait did say that her and Delora were going to meet with someone who had information on Hildur. And you believe that their meeting was with this man? Karma turns to Fritz, suddenly clearly skeptical. That seems like it could be a coincidence. How are we to believe you? Fritz is silent for a few moments. After some time, he speaks again, more hesitantly. I know that apologizing won't change the fact that I have betrayed the princess and the kingdom. But right now, I am doing my best to right my wrongs while I still have control of my body. The knights are still searching for me as we speak, so I'll make this as brief as I can. Hildur is growing weaker. What? I haven't been myself for the past few weeks, but I still have portions of Varg's memories. I remember that she's bedridden, still being treated for wounds that she sustained during the Great War. Then she is now sick like Parfait, only Mother seems to have it worse than her. I overheard Mythos saying that the crystal no longer recognizes her as the sole bearer. Parfait said something similar, but she said she could no longer feel Mother's connection with the tenebrium. But what Fritz just said. It seems that the crystal has seen both of you as bearers. It stretches its energy to the both of you. That may be why Hildur hasn't regained her full power and has remained weak. Walt stares at Fritz wide-eyed. The crystal having two bearers? I didn't think such a thing was possible. Is that why Hildur refuses to show herself in public? Yes, the witches who used to be on her side doubt her capabilities to rule. None of them want to help her when she is still so weak. Mythos figured that the only way to get the crystal to fully accept Hildur is to drain the rest of your powers. That is why the palace has issued a higher bounty on your head. But Father is no longer interested in actively hunting for you. There's been a rift between him and Mythos because of this. Waltz crosses his arms, his expression thoughtful. I'm surprised Hildur hasn't disposed of Alacaster yet. If he is still alive, it means he must still play an important role in her plans. Fritz's expression quickly morphs into something grim as he frowns down at the ground. You're right. Walt and I exchange a look before we turn back to Fritz. Mythos plans to kill my father today. Fritz's eyes are distant, his mouth pulled into a tight grimace. All I can do is stare at him uncertain for what he had just told me. Hildur will show herself to the public today. She and Mythos plan to kill Father in front of an audience and hope that their fear and despair will fuel the tenebrium. They think fueling the tenebrium might make Hildur stronger. They plan to use the fear of the public to achieve their own ends. This is not good. With this many people here, the tenebrium might indeed see that surge of power again. Even a weakened Hildur will be difficult to fight, but we stand more of a chance against her now than we do if she fuels the tenebrium with negativity. Please save the kingdom, princess. Fritz looks at me imploringly. I shake my head slowly. I am confused. You betrayed us, but then You're still helping us as well? Which side are you on? The only reason I'm working for them in the first place is because of my curse, I swear it. Fritz tries to stand up, but his knees wobble, and suddenly he is down on the ground again, his hand clenching at his chest. Fritz? No, not yet. Fritz looks at me, his pale face covered in sweat. I have no idea how long I can suffocate Varg, so please, bind me, freeze me, do whatever you can to keep me from chasing after you. I don't want to hurt anyone anymore. Fritz kneels over, his forehead touching the ground. Please. Waltz, I know. Waltz snaps his finger, and a rope of light appears around Fritz's wrist, pulling him down to the ground. I furrow my eyebrows as Fritz, even as he cocks his head to look at me. Thank you. You don't have much time left. I plan to deliver my message to the Lucis bearer, but I leave it in your capable hands instead. Fritz, I'm sorry. I will do anything to protect my charge. Now go. Jern nods at me. Don't worry, Garland and I will keep an eye on him. Garland quickly informs us of the knights' positions around the plaza and gives us clues where we might hide to avoid their prying eyes. After he has finished his briefing, Waltz, Karma, and I hurry off. Father, please watch over us today. There are so many people here. They have no idea that this seamlessly harmless beach will be the start of their nightmares. I have been fiddling with my fingers since we got here, my nerves slowly taking over me. There are so many knights. I pull down the hood of my cloak to make sure that my face is concealed from them. Walt suddenly reaches out to take my hand. He raises it to his lips. Waltz looks at me with a gentle smile. Don't worry, I won't let anything happen to you. I'm not worried about myself. I am more worried about the people's safety, as well as our friends. I will not forgive myself for something if something bad happens to them. You're not the only one responsible for protecting everyone here. Remember, I will always share your burden, Lucetta. I know. I look up at him and smile. Thank you. I've told you so many times that I would do anything for you, Lucetta. I feel the same way. Waltz wraps his arms around my waist and draws me closer to him. Waltz? Waltz takes my hand and plants a kiss on my fingers. You worry too much, Princess. How I wish I could share your optimism. And his casualness. How does he manage to act like this in front of so many people and in so dire a time? The king is here. A woman announces the king's presence, and Waltz and I immediately turn our attention to the stage. He takes a step away from me, arms at his side, expression suddenly stoic. Alacaster walks to the center of the platform with a triumphant smile. Good day, my loyal subjects. Everyone goes silent at the sound of his voice. I know that much has happened in our kingdom since the late King Gennaro passed away. We are still exerting our efforts to find the king's murderer, his very own daughter. Rest assured that justice shall find this criminal, even if she is our own princess. Anyone who is able to surrender her to the palace will be rewarded handsomely. Members of the crowd begin to chatter among each other. It hurts that people believe him, but I cannot say I blame them. As our king, I will do everything in my power to make sure that the kingdom flourishes under my rules. My, what a sight. Even after all these years, you humans never change. That voice. I frantically look around for her, but though her voice echoes around us, she is nowhere to be seen. Where is she hiding? The crowd goes restless at the sound of her voice. Many try to search for her with their eyes. You lot are nothing but manipulative, lying rodents, and yet you call us witches the wicked ones. A bright light fades into existence right beside Alacaster. A silhouette emerges from the light, and suddenly I can see her in all of her wicked glory. My mother, the witch who killed my father. Mythos stands beside her. She is here. Her sudden appearance causes the already restless crowd to break into a panic. Silence. One word from her and the crowd falls into silence. Not a single person dares to move, their eyes now glued to the witch in front of them. Alacaster acts more quickly than I expected, drawing his sword from its sheath and pointing it at her neck. You, what are you doing here? You should be thankful that I let you play king for so long, but I am afraid playtime is over. That crown belongs to me. Mother faces the crowd with a smile and spreads her arms in a gesture of grandness. Angelia, your queen is back. Mother is even paler than I last saw her, making the dark circle stand out even more beneath her eyes. She looks worse than Parfait. I won't let you steal my crown, witch. Oh, but I was not the one who stole it in the first place. Alacaster grits his teeth and charged towards Mother. Mythos deftly steps in front of her and casts a shield. Alacaster slams his sword into an invisible wall. Then, with a wave of Mythos' hand, Alacaster is suddenly thrown back once again. The crowd becomes restless. I've tolerated you for far too long, humans. But right now, you are inconsequential. Sparkling icicle darts appear in midair as Mother raises her hand. They point outwards, casting themselves into the direction of the townspeople. She used the spell before, but now there are even more of them. She looks weak, yet she still manages this much. She can easily destroy this part of town with that spell. I stare at Waltz, eyes wide, then lower my voice into a panicked whisper. I thought she was planning on killing Alacaster. Seems like the plans have changed. Farewell, my disloyal subjects. I cannot let her do this. Lucetta. I ignore Waltz and quickly run to the center of the crowd, knowing this will be the most effective place to set up a barrier. A strong gust of wind causes my hood to come off. I stretch out my arms as I concentrate on casting a shield around the entirety of the crowd. Isn't that the princess? Which? I do my best to shut out everyone's voices as I push all of my energy towards the palm of my hands, imagining an impenetrable glass arching in front of us. As soon as I have cast the massive shield, the icicles shatter upon impact, falling away. I wince at the impact, but force myself to stand steady even when I am pushed back. I will not let you hurt anyone anymore, Mother. The crowd begins to murmur all around us. Ah, so you finally showed up, little one. It's good to see you again, my dear daughter. I knew I'd seen some sort of reaction if I opened my speech like this. She did this to draw me out. Now be a good girl and hand over what is rightfully mine. You won't get away with this, witch. Alacaster is once again back on his feet, a sword poised and ready to strike. He cannot defeat Mother with a mere sword. Mother looks at Alacaster, a wide grin slowly parts her lips. But I already have. Mother flicks her hand and a silver light begins to gather in her palms. I recognize that spell. As much as I hate Alacaster for what he's done to the kingdom, I cannot just stand by idly as she summons a spell to kill him. I push myself forward, rushing towards Alacaster. Alacaster, run! But I am too late. A second later, a sword of light appears and impales Alacaster right through his chest. No. This time, the crowd finally begins to disperse. People begin to push past each other, screaming and crying. Most of them are at the edge of the plaza, before Mother casts another spell, creating a barrier to lock everyone inside. A strange wave of energy pulsates through my body, making me stumble. That's right, feed me your fear. The people's negative energy is fueling the tenebrium. My eyes shift towards Mother, whose grin is deranged, inhumanly wide. A shiver runs down my spine. Mother, stop this madness. In my moment of hesitation, Waltz rushes forward to cast a spell. Purple strikes run towards Mother, but she does nothing to stop them. Mythos effortlessly stands in front of her, casting a shield. The force of Waltz's spell sends him stumbling backwards. I heard his shield crack. Mythos tries to keep it up, but ends up succumbing to the force of Waltz's spell. Eventually, the glass shatters and the sparks force their way through. One of them impales Mythos through the chest. Ugh. Mother glances at Waltz, her lips pulled into a pleased smile. Impressive. You can still use your magic even after being separated from it for so long. I expected no less from my superior apprentice. Mother turns to Mythos and raises an eyebrow slowly. You are still a disappointment, Myth. My queen. Those are the last words he manages before he stops speaking. Father! Fritz's voice echoes through the sudden silent plaza. He rushes towards Alacaster, who has managed to walk a good distance away from Mother before collapsing on the ground. Soon, Fritz is kneeling right beside Alacaster's bloody body. Jaren and Garland are right beside him. I am able to walk over to them, but I am about to walk over to them, but Karma holds my hand and pulls me back. Don't. But you do not want to set your eyes on such a ghastly sight up close, Princess. Mother watches Fritz, and the two knights approach with disinterest. This is his fate for trying to steal what is rightfully mine. Alacaster brings his hand to his mouth and coughs. I can see blood on his hands. Father's last moments flash through my head, but I will the memory away as Mother turns her gaze on me. Mother surveys me with a warm smile. She holds out her hand and beckons me over. Join me, Lucetta. We were meant to rule this kingdom hand in hand from the start. These humans do not deserve your protection. They deserve to suffer after everything they've done to our kind. I shake my head. I'd rather die than join you. What? Ungrateful brat, this is how you repay everything you've done to me? I've done nothing. You've done nothing for me. Very well. If you wish for death, I shall give it to you. Once I'm done with you, I will destroy this kingdom and start anew. It will be a kingdom for the witches and I. I will not let you do that. Mother is taken by surprise when another purple strike suddenly pushes through the ground towards her. She steps back, avoiding the brunt of the attack, but her arm is still grazed. Blood oozes from a newly opened gash. Waltz, you have to get through me first. You can't stop me, traitor. Mother extends her hands, and in mere moments lightning has suddenly appeared and is winding its way up Waltz's body. No. Attack. I act on impulse. I know that the spell I have been caught will not even graze her, but I do not consider that consequence as I raise my hand to cast the spell. Power slowly begins to trickle through my veins and into my palms as I approach the platform. Let him go. Lucetta, don't. My heart is in my throat as I draw closer to where they are. Let him go. I will do anything, just let him go. Anything. Mother's voice is terrible and sweet, her voice filled with poison. I cannot bring myself to look at her. Instead, I keep my eyes firmly focused on Waltz. When Waltz speaks my name, it is in the soft voice that I have come to love so dearly. Lucetta, if you wish so much to save him, then you must return what you have taken from me, the crystallum tenebrium, and then you will become my sweet, obedient daughter once more. Only then will I let Waltz go. Waltz's eyes begin to dim, and I can see the hope draining out of him. I am so sorry, Waltz, but I cannot lose you too. You know where to find me, Lucetta. The longer you keep me waiting, the longer he suffers. There is a blinding flash of light, and the mother and Waltz are both gone. No! A dull ache begins to spread through my chest. Again, I wasn't able to do anything again. Why am I so weak? Suddenly, I feel Durin's hand on my shoulder. I turn to look at her. She stares at me solemnly for a few moments before her expression breaks and she shakes her head. Don't blame yourself for this. There is nothing you could have done. I could have saved him. Durin looks through me, and I follow her gaze. The people are starting to back away, their expression a mixture of fear and anger. This is exactly like 4 years ago. What should we do now? The witch killed the new king. Everyone, it's best for all of you to go home and stay there where you'll be safe. And what? Wait until the next witch kills us? One woman points an accusing finger at me. Her fear is palpable. That murderer is a witch as well. She's exactly like her mother, a wicked witch. The people begin to curse me. I stand quickly and listen to their insults. I cannot blame them for thinking that way. Karma moves to stand beside Durin, and the two of them shield me from the angry mass. I doubt any of these people will listen to anything I have to say. Stop. A familiar man walks towards us with a gentle smile. You are... Yes, you remembered me? You helped make my daughter happy on her special day with your gift. I'm surprised when both him and his wife come to stand beside me. What are you doing? I can finally properly repay you for what you've done. The man smiles at me before turning his attention to the crowd. We won't let you hurt the princess. Rumors may have spread about her being a cold and wicked person, but those rumors are false. I know the truth. She is a kind person. She just protected us from the evil queen. Have you no shame? The angry shouts begin to fade into hushed accusation and aggressive whispering. That's right. We won't let you hurt Big Sister. These are the children that Waltz and I played with, the ones that watched his show. The children stand on my other side. Big Sister is a very good person, and we won't let you hurt her. I can only stare in shock at everyone around me. My vision blurs as tears come to my eyes. I quickly wipe them away with the back of my hand. Everyone. A simple act of kindness can go a long way, can't it? These people believe in me. That is why I have to live up to their hopes. I take a deep breath and start walking forward. Durin grabs my arm. Her brows crease with worry, but I shake my head at her and smile. I will be okay. Durin looks at me for a moment before she finally releases me. Now that I am directly in front of everyone, the area has quieted. I close my eyes and take another deep breath. Slowly, I get down on one knee before them. I am sorry. The crowd begins to murmur again. I can hear more than a few stifled gasps. Princess, you shouldn't... I raise my hand to silent Durin. I once again look To the townspeople, I know my words are meaningless, but I still want to apologize for everything my mother has done, and also to the people I have hurt. I was blind and naive, ignoring the fear and anxiety of so many people. But I have grown since then, and now I see with clear eyes the hatred you have for my mother and for me. The crowd remained silent, so I continued. King Gennaro was killed by my mother, and I was not strong enough to save him. So yes, you are correct. I am the reason he is dead now. But I made a promise to him, and I intend to keep it. I will protect Angelia in his stead, and I hope that all of you will give me a chance to prove myself worthy as your princess and your future queen. I promise I will make things right again, no matter what it takes. At least I think I can. I bow my head once again before standing. I then turn to Durin and Karma. I notice that Fritz and Garland are absent and that Alacaster is nowhere to be seen. Where are Garland and Fritz? They took Alacaster's body away from all of this. Body, you mean he has passed. A heaviness begins to sink into my chest. Bloodshed will only beget more bloodshed. That is why I cannot let anyone die anymore. Please do your best, big sister. I am pulled out of my reverie by the voice of one of the little boys. Let's play again when you come back. I stare at their smiling faces with blurry eyes. I do not even know if I will live through this, but I do not have the heart to ruin their optimism. I'd like that. I need them to keep hoping for a better tomorrow, so they will be strong enough to stand on their own feet if they must face the whole world. Durin, tell Dolora and Parfait what happened when they come back to the Marchen. What are you planning to do? Under no circumstances are you to go to that witch alone, am I clear? Waltz would not want you to sacrifice yourself for him. I step back and smile at her and Karma. I apologize for this. I back away towards the palace, putting as much distance as I can between me and the crowd, the platform, and Karma and Durin. Then, as swiftly as I can, I hold out my hand to cast a large dome-shaped shield around the palace and I. The energy is falling away from me even as I cast the spell, only to be replaced by new energy. The tenebrium is gaining power. No! Durin rushes towards the shield and places her hands on it. She calls my name, but I only shake my head at her. Princess Lucetta, do not be so foolish. No, I refuse to let anyone die. I can manage the shield for an hour. That should be enough time to save Waltz and end this for good. I offer one last smile before I turn and rush through the palace gates. Durin and Karma continue to call my name, but to no avail. I am sorry, everyone, but this is something that I must do on my own. This is the only way I can protect you all. I expected resistance when I entered the palace, but to my surprise, there is no one here, not a single soul. Everyone must have evacuated when Mother appeared outside. The stagnant air around me is suffocating. The night air is quiet and cold as death. My footsteps are very loud in the emptiness of the palace. If I give my powers to her voluntarily, will I die? This thought has haunted me since I first entered the palace. All too soon, the doors to the throne room are before me. I pause in front of them, suddenly feeling anxious. Father, I am sorry. I cannot be the queen you want me to be. Waltz's life hangs in the balance. I must save him. I am sorry for being selfish. I take a deep breath and with renewed determination push open the doors. Did I actually get the good ending? I will be very shocked if I got the good ending by randomly guessing. But before we keep going, I need to go get more water. Okay, last chapter. The first thing I see is Mother sitting upon Father's throne. Hello, dearest one. Mother. Somehow she looks even worse than earlier. My gaze is drawn to where Waltz is sitting at Mother's feet. His eyes widen when he notices me. A bright light surrounds his body like a rope, keeping him in place. Waltz. It looks as if he's trying to say something, but his mouth does not budge. It is as if his lips are sewn shut. What have you done to him? Don't worry, Lucetta. He is unharmed. But with these bindings, his magic is restricted. I just don't want him to ruin our mother-daughter bonding time, so I sealed his lips. Mother draws her hands through Waltz's hair in a way that reminds me of a mother codding her child. I clench my fists, let him go. Mother's eyes flash. She could hurt him so easily if I anger her. I am here now, so let him go. I think I shall keep him where he is until your side of the agreement is complete, dearest one. I can only manage to glare at her. Oh, my darling, don't look at me like that. Don't you want things to be how they were? You were so happy when we were together. I shake my head at her. That wasn't happiness. You kept me from happiness, and when I finally did find happiness, you took it away. Having friends, being loved by Father, I could have had all those things if it weren't for you, and even now, you would take Waltz from me? Mother rests her chin on the palm of her hand, expression cold as ice. This boy makes you happier than I do? You would choose him over me? I am not looking at Mother when I answer. Instead, I direct my attention to Waltz, who is shaking his head at me. My only apologize to him is a silent frown. Yes, I meet Mother's gaze at last. Tell me what I must do to save him. The silence in the throne room is deafening, but I am resolute. No matter what happens, Waltz must live. Mother raises her hands to her chest, and moments later, a silver crystal begins to form, floating above the palms of her hands. The crystal's light is dim, its surface clouded, but I know exactly what it is. The crystallum tenebrium. It looks so much smaller than it was before. Mother walks towards me, a gentle smile on her face. Come, darling, raise your hands to the tenebrium. I falter for an instant. If you take my powers from me, will I die? I will be very careful, Lucetta. Since you are offering your powers willingly, no harm shall come to you. Mother smiles so sweet, her voice so reassuring. Don't do this, Lucetta. Waltz, your voice. If she takes away all of your powers, you'll be nothing but an empty shell. Mother slaps Waltz before he can say anything else. He falls to his side, his body still incapable of movement. Waltz! Well, I am impressed that you managed to break the spell. I am confident you will not be able to break your bindings. Mother lets out an exasperated sigh. My patience is running out, Lucetta. If you don't give me what I want, then I will have to force it from you. I see Mother flicker her hands to cast a spell. I am about to move, but I am too late. Her spell collides with my body. I expect to feel pain, but I'm surprised by the sudden lightness that overtakes me. Soon my eyes grow heavy and my knees buckle, causing me to fall to the floor. I feel as light as air. Lucetta. I continue to lie there on the floor, unmoving, as Mother strides towards me. Don't worry, little one, your nightmare will soon be over. Her face is the last thing I see before I am consumed by an endless darkness. Have you done as I commanded? Yes. I can't hear you, Waltz. Yes, my queen. Your pettiness is unlike you, Waltz. I expected more. If you do not like working with me, you could simply say no. I would not force you to continue here against your will. You have served me well these past few months, after all. You know full well why I'm still here. You are still so enraptured with my daughter, but I do not blame you. I think she is lovelier now than she ever had been before. She does not talk back, she does not rebel, and she does everything I tell her to. She is far more obedient this way. I prefer it, don't you agree, Lucetta? Yes. You made her like this, of course you would think so. Oh, but she isn't dead. Isn't that why you continue to stay here? Out of some desperate hope that you will be able to break her out of the spell, return her to the way she was? How foolish. I must assure you there is no way to reverse the spell. If Lucetta had been a good girl and done as she told in the first place, she would not have been like this. Indeed, because you interrupted the initial process, there is no way for me to restore the power without taking Lucetta's spirit. In a way, you made her like this, Waltz. She sacrificed herself for you, and you have no one to blame but yourself. Stop it. You didn't have to do this. You didn't have to hurt her. Don't you love her? Deeply. As truly as any mother should love her daughter. It is a shame you cannot recognize that, Waltz. I have only acted for the benefit of all witches. One day you will accept that. I know Lucetta already has. Am I right, Lucetta? Yes, Mother. Well, obviously that's a bad ending. Well then. That was good though. I did enjoy that story a lot. Like I said, I think we're going to play Alice Madness Returns next week instead of whatever is scheduled. But that is all for this stream. I will see you all in about 7 hours, and we will play Honkai Star Rail. We'll pull for Sunday, and like I said, most likely we'll do Forgotten Hall also. But until then, I will see you all later. Bye.